Supreme Understanding. I want to do a quick commentary on white privilege, racism, white supremacy, discrimination, structural inequality, racial injustice, and first let me try to get actually on the camera. There we go. Um, basically all them terms pretty much referring to the same thing. And I wanted to start with the first thing. The main thing is I want to really talk about how we 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 parrot these fallacious and by fallacious I don't mean like fellatio. I mean like there's a fallacy to them. We parrot these sayings, these cliches, man, that somebody else done told us, and now we saying them without really digesting them and thinking about whether they make sense or what they really mean. Give you an example. When we hear, and typically these black people are saying this, and typically it's people of all colors, really. You never really hear anybody saying this about any other group of people, but they say, well, all people have created great, atrocities, or people have, done all kinds of awful things to each other all over the world, right? All throughout history, right? And you never hear anybody say that to defend the Bloods, versus Crips. You never hear anybody say that to defend what one group in Africa did to another group in Africa. You never hear anybody say that to defend any other group except white people. When people bring up slavery or people bring up anything else, it's always, well, everybody's done it, right? But you never hear that defense used for any other group of people. It's only for white people, right? And then the problem with that is, well, that's like saying all atrocities and all acts of cruelty are the same. So you taking, you looking at a Zulu tribe taking the damn, well, let's say the Bushmen stealing some cattle from some Zulus in South Africa, and you saying that's the same as stealing 400 million Africans from West Africa and basically either dehumanizing them or killing them or whatever, like, and that's the same? No, that's not the same. And not to say like, oh, well, 100 million Native Americans died and 400 million African Americans was, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying like, oh yeah, well, this is worse than this. But let's be real. There's a reason why pickpocketing is different from murder. It's not all the same. And to say it's all the same is kind of like, that's one of the things, that's one of the, hold on, my proven GPS. Um, that's one of them subtle examples of white privilege, where there are these things that white people are allowed to say and teach, and we agree with them. We say it too, but they don't make no damn sense, and they're so subtly racist when you really dig deep into them. Like for example, let's do another one real quick, right? Or let's even do the whole thing about pickpocketing and all that, right? Where we talk about, this is just another side topic, but yeah, like a dude could steal a pair of shoes and he'd be in jail for 10 years, but somebody else could steal 30 million and do 7 months. That's just the way that crimes are prosecuted in the U.S. If it's a quote-unquote white-collar crime, you already know what that means. It's a white person doing the crime, and therefore they gonna, get away with it. And that's kind of the way that justice and punishment has always been in this country. Just like weed. Marijuana was first criminalized in California so that they could send the Mexicans and blacks that were smoking the weed to jail. Then, when white people was the main ones smoking the weed in California, they decriminalized it. So that's the way that the laws work. The laws, okay, what is it that blacks and Latinos are doing more than anybody else? Well, let's criminalize that. Oh no, now white people are doing it. Well, let's decriminalize it. As soon as white people start sagging their pants, it's not going to be a problem no more. Just watch. And they have been. And they don't want to do that shit. They don't even wear no damn underwear. They had their fucking pants sagging and shit. That shit look disgusting. But that's another story. Let's look at some other things that people say that we just never really think about. Talk about, let's not keep on talking about slavery that's in the past. What about what's happening right now? But you will never, ever hear anybody say that regarding 9/11 or the Holocaust. You won't hear that. You won't ever hear anybody saying to gay people or to Jewish people, hey, stop complaining, stop crying. You need to pull yourself up by your motherfucking bootstraps. And these are groups that have been making significant. I'm talking about they make good. Like I ain't gonna say everybody do, but motherfuckers making a whole lot of money on average than black people. But you know, and there's a lot of issues to all that. You know, it's just so hard to kind of dig into all of it, especially when this British chick is talking over me. But let's do one more real quick. This is like this. I'm gonna get as subtle as I can, right? Because I was watching this dude driving around with he was driving a little Ford or something, and he had a little American flag, right? Made me think. Because right before I'd seen him, I had seen some brothers that was driving around with license plate with a Confederate flag on the back, and I ain't know they was black until I pulled up beside him, and I was like, damn, this shit is a trip. Still recording? Am I still recording? Good, I'm still recording. I got about 5 minutes, 4 minutes. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. All right. So that shit made me just start thinking about the American flag, and I was like, what is it that motivates somebody to ride around with the American flag? And I thought, well, you know, you never really saw black people waving the American flag until after 9/11, and I thought about that. See, because for black people, it's a way to say, hey, I'm just as American as you, white people. And for white people, it's a way to say, hey, I'm as white as I want to be, everybody. Like, that's what the American flag represents. Because think about it. You could be an American, and what does that mean? Well, you could go live in Thailand or Dubai or wherever and still have your American citizenship. You could still vote in everything, absentee ballots. So you're still an American, no matter where you are in the world. But you could live in America, work in America, and if you ain't got your right paperwork, then you're not an American. So it's not about where you are geographically. And it's not necessarily... You see that? My GPS tells me when I'm over the speed limit. I know. I'm trying to get done with this video though, man. She need to stop talking. So, getting back to the American thing, right? So really, you know, when you see brothers start wearing that American flag, they really just trying to rep, okay, look, man, I'm down with everybody else. I'm down with all this. They be talking about our country and all that. And I can understand if you was talking about all the people in it, but when you say that, you're not talking about all the people in it. Because you acknowledging that some people is not Americans. You're talking about they trying to take the land or they trying to do this, which is so ironic when you really think about it, because everybody that's here right now, man, you know, that's another story altogether, but let's not even go there right now. But then I started thinking about the whole reason why white boys be wanting to have like American-made cars like Dodge and Ford and all that other shit, talking about, you know, mine is American-made, I got a Chevy. Yeah, I thought about it at first, and at first it was so subtle it didn't really mean anything to me. Because I was like, oh, well, you know, they just want to support American economy, they want to make sure that people in their communities can have jobs, but, well, let's be honest, for the average black person, you know, most of those car companies have actually pulled out of black communities. They did that in the 60s. There's a few left, but most of them pulled out. And so I thought maybe it's about job creation. But then I thought, well, I've never heard that argument made about Volkswagens, Benzes, about Porsches, Ferraris. And, you know, I thought, okay, maybe that's high-end. But then I thought, you know, Volkswagen, you know what I mean? Nobody say that about European-made vehicles. There's no fuck Japanese-made cars sentiment for European-made cars. Nobody speaks that ill of European-made cars. It's really about the Japanese-made cars. And I was like, damn, that's some white shit. Because really, it's not so much that the car is a better car or that you really want to support American economy. You just don't want to support nothing that's black, brown, or yellow. Like, that's really all it boiled down to. I'm going to tell you, if there was a football team that was all white and they could actually play, motherfuckers would rally behind them like it was like there was no other team out there. Don't matter what state you living in, they would rally behind that white team. And that's just the way it is. If you think things have really changed, man, look up some statistics. Look up the Pew Report. Look up a few things that have shown that racism, there ain't no post-racial America. This shit is still here. But the thing about it that makes it deep is the reason why we don't understand, the reason why we parrot these dumbass cliches is because it's so subtle now. It's so subtle the way they do it. And you really got to be able to look. Now, maybe I'm reading some things wrong. I'm fine with that. But at least I want you to do is I want you to start thinking. I want you to start looking at things. I want you to start looking at why is there still like a thing where You know, you can have streets in Atlanta named with Confederate names, and motherfuckers is fighting to defend them names. Like, why would you fight to defend that? And these are just uppity white people. They're just fighting to defend their street names. You know, why is it that, like, when you pass white people, like, motherfuckers don't even really bother to say excuse me? You know, motherfuckers don't even make eye contact with you. Like, it ain't that bullshit that they scared. Motherfuckers is, that's one thing that they not nowadays. They not really scared like they used to be. Ain't no more, like, there's a little bit of purse clutching and all that, and door locking, but it ain't like it used to be. So don't think it's fear. Motherfuckers just don't like you. Just accept it. And they show you in all these different ways, but we refuse to see it because we just think that if we just speak up for them enough and defend them enough, then one day they'll accept us. This ain't no fucking high school movie. That ain't the way this shit work. So, you know, with all that said, man, get real, man. You know, dig in a little bit deeper. Peace.